International Film Festival Rotterdam. International Film Festival Rotterdam.
Welkom bij Big Talk. 10 dagen lang staat Rotterdam in het teken van film tijdens het International Film Festival. En iedere avond vindt hier in het oude Luxor een talkshow plaats. Daarin zetten we een top-interviewer tegenover een van de belangrijkste gasten van het filmfestival. En vanavond interviewt Gawie de Keyser, filmjournalist van Weekblad De Groene, de Franse regisseur Ossang over zijn film Dharma Guns.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would also like to welcome Mr. Ossang. It's a very great privilege and pleasure to meet with you and to see this film with you tonight. We have got about 15 minutes to unravel the mysteries of the universe. So let's get to it. Next to you is a translator. If we don't get the correct English words, we can always turn to Tom. The film tonight, your latest film, premiere tonight, is called Dharma Guns, your fourth feature film. And I was thinking, in this kind of introduction, you always have to tell people what the film is about. But I think in this case, we're not going to do that. I would like to ask you about one aspect of the film, and that's the fact that the lead character has got a Dutch name. He's called Stan van der Decken. And you were telling me beforehand that often happens in your films. So tell us about your connection with this Dutch name.
Yes, it's a connection with the Flying Dutchman.
The Flying Dutchman?
Yes. Yes, I'm very fond of the story of the Flying Dutchman. And even in Dr. Chance, there is Le Hollandais.
One of your feature films.
The Dutchman. And I love Pandora and so on. And Stan van der Decken is the name of a book by Captain Marriott and Ghost Vessels and so on. And I'm fond of a story of ghost vessels. And I'm very fond of Pandora by Albert Lewin. And when I went to Chile to shoot Dr. Chance, I had only two tapes. I had Solaris by
Tarkovsky.
Yes, and Pandora, two extreme.
So those two films offered. I have to admit, I have to ask you about another thing about your film as well. The first scene is a water skiing scene.
Yes.
And it is filmed very lovingly, as if you really loved that aspect of the film. What is that about water skiing? And maybe also, what is that about water? Because often in your films, water plays a very important role.
Yes, yes. When I was young, I loved to make water skiing. And I was not satisfied with the scenes in cinema about water skiing.
So you decided, yeah, go ahead.
So, and also I remember a book from a writer I love, is Witold Gombrowicz, and he wrote a book called Les Envoûtés. It's a Gothic novel.
Right.
And I was fascinated because it begins by all the tenebrous forces enter in action during the opening scene of the book, which is a tennis match.
A tennis match?
Yes. And Yes, and suddenly sort of duel, and I found very interesting to begin by something lisse, quelque chose de lisse, de moderne, comme ça, and suddenly the tenebrous forces appears.
You mentioned Gothic, that's a Gothic novel. Also in Dharma Guns, the Gothic aspect comes really to the fore. It's filmed in black and white. Yeah. And there are also reference to H.P. Lovecraft in the movie.
Yes, yes.
Is that something you'd like to
I
elaborate on?
love H.P. Lovecraft, and maybe I'm fond of William Seward Burroughs, and who was a fan of Lovecraft. Yeah. And yes, I love the Gothic books, like Château d'Otrante, Melmoth, the Wanderer.
And what exactly do you see in these kind of stories? Is it like the delving into the psychology of the character that you like, or the psychology of the story, perhaps?
No, this film is more Orphic, Orphic ways. The Orphic ways in action in Dharma Guns. Yeah. And also it's a nature of cinema, I think.
And also, is that also poetry a means of getting to the psychology of the character rather than a pure narrative story?
I don't like so much to, because of course poetry and music and photography and so on in composition of a film may enter. But poetry is poetry, and cinema sometimes poetic. But Cocteau spoke about, or Pasolini, about cinema de poésie. Right. And I think that cinema of poetry is a very interesting way, because it's not like a cine novel. It's I like the epic way, the poem who contains the story, and also there is how it's difficult to say. Maybe I think that about operatic vocation of cinema is it can be the disaster of cinema, like in opera. Yeah. Because it can be an elephant who makes a fly with the demiurgy. But I think yes, music, poetry, mathematics.
If you talk in cinema in those terms, it does seem that you are kind of an outsider in the current climate of the film industry. Do you also see yourself as an outsider?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I try to make films.
Is it difficult for you to get the kind of film made that we're going to see tonight, Dharma Guns? Is it difficult to get it financed?
Yes. That was always my problem. But I think I'm not the only one to have this problem. But yes, between every film, I had a desert traversée du désert.
I have to traverse the desert, go through the desert to make each film.
Is that literally looking for money to make the film work?
Yes, because I had generally I have a script not so long time after the late film. Yes, but yes, and yes, because
it's too. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, and also I wanted to show to shoot in Argentic. I'm a fetishist of Argentic cinema. And even in my difficult times in the beginning of between Dr. Chance and Dharma Guns, yes. I shot three short films, a series of 3 short films, one in Super 8, black and white, in Vladivostok.
And they are very beautiful. Silencio, the one is called, isn't it?
It was shot in Portugal, this one.
And you shot that on 16mm or Silencio?
16. Vladivostok in Super 8, and sky is blackout, ciel éteint in...
Because Silencio looks very beautiful. It looks very beautiful. It doesn't look like it's... Maybe it's the 16mm that makes it look beautiful.
But 16 is a good...
And also, you've got there are lots of visual clues in Dharma Guns that refers back to the beginning age of cinema, like the looking through a telescope, for instance, and the sides are blacked out. What is it about the silent cinema that you like?
Yes, it's not fetishism or melancholy or nostalgia of, but yes, I loved silent movies. So I love the words from Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard. That's this fucking dialogue movies. and
when sound came, she said that.
Yes,
yes.
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 And more, I think I was more and more interested by, fascinated by the rhetoric
Yes.
of silent movies. But I think that even when I began to make movies, it seemed to me that there was a very strong period,
Yeah.
une période très forte, avec énormément de vitalité, where the
Enormous vitality.
Yes.
yeah, where very quickly cinema finds its own way of expression, different of theater, different of literature, etc. It's a silent time, and alas,
Alas, helaas. No,
alas.
Little Dutch. So tell us about that, helaas.
Helaas.
What helaas? What is the current state then? How do you feel about the current state?
The sound arrived.
The sound arrived.
The cinema dialogue began.
So was that the beginning of the end then, when the sound arrived?
Sorry?
Was that the beginning of the end? When
No.
sound-
Yeah, no, but if you look at films from the beginning until 31,
Yes.
and from 31 to the late 70s, it seemed that that was much more interesting in the first period. And but when I began to make films in early 80s, the technique of photography was quite the same. Much easier, but not better. But the sound was really much more, beaucoup plus mobile.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to make silent, noisy films.
Silent, noisy. Where would the noise come from then?
Yes, noise is the beginning.
Because in silent movies you also have the connection between the image and the written word. You have titles in between scenes.
Yes.
And you're using that technique also in your own films, in Dharma Guns, but to a bigger extent in Silencio, the short film. You use titles between the and that refers back to silent cinema as well.
Titles are very interesting because, for instance, in a silent movie of 1 hour and a half, you have much more things which are evocative than in a modern film. And there's the cooperation with the titles, and the redirection, and the contamination of before and after. And of course, the black is the most important part in cinema.
Yeah, the blackness.
The blackness, yes. Because cinema is an illusion of mobility, of movement.
Illusion of movement, yes.
Yes, because it's only fixed images, and you have there is black between every image, and if you increase the black, you change or you cut the continuity of narration, and of course you have the sound, if it's the sound etc. I'm sorry because my English is not very fluent.
No, we're understanding. I want to ask you about, we're getting to the end of our talk, but this is a very interesting quote that I found that you said. You said that the industrial death of cinema is a fact.
No, I think.
Well, this is an important question, so if you would like to direct it to Tom in French,
Yes.
we would really like to know. Feel free to do so.
Non. Oui, mais disons que comme je disais, j'ai vraiment une grande passion pour le cinéma argentique.
great passion for silent cinema and black and white cinema.
It's an argentic cinema. And
In French, argentique, so silvery cinema.
Right.
yeah. And of course, numeric digital cinema is interesting, but it's a different way of making, because you shot a lot, and in cinema you shot not so much.
Do you? Yeah. Sorry. Do you feel that you are sort of a leader in a movement towards a cinema of poetry and the fantastical adventure? You are a leading figure in this movement, and you call this a necessary movement. It's necessary to do that. Do you see yourself that way?
Oh.
As a leader in this movement?
We'll not lead. We shall detonate.
Please, again, I don't think that I heard. Can you please repeat that?
I remember situationist times. They said, "We shall not lead. We'll detonate." But sorry, I didn't answer your question about water.
About
yes,
the water?
Yes, I'm very excited about water.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And,
Back to the beginning.
okay.
We've got time. Please, we've got time.
Yes,
I would like to.
And that was one of your main questions of the beginning. That was about Bachelard. Bachelard wrote a French philosopher wrote an essential book which is called Water and Dreams.
Water and Dreams.
And he explained that water is a reflection of toutes les émanations de l'imagination.
The emanations of the imagination, everything that takes shape from the imagination.
Yes, yes. But there is heavy water, clear water, living water, dead water, and so on. And it's quite the mirror of the different states of the soul.
Well, that I'm sure that people will, seeing the beginning of this film, will think about what Mr. Ossang has just said, because the beginning of the film is all about water and water skiing.
Not only.
Finally, could you tell us about your next project? Are you working on anything at the moment?
Yes, I'm because of our 2 or 3 directions of a project. I'm waiting a little bit to see what will be the reception of this film, this new film. Because if you write a script for 3 million euros and you can get only $3,000 or $300,000, you cannot make the film.
Practical considerations. But after the last film, you also said that you spent some time meditating on cinema, thinking about what it means to make a film.
Yes, because I love cinema. It was difficult for me, but it's really different of writing, of making music, and yes. No, it was about industry. I was saying that there was a status quo between argentic and numeric and digital cinema, because I love video also, but I think it's a pity to liquidate too fastly argentic cinema.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and yes, and I had difficulties in new century, but it was not so terrible because every century begins with 7 or 8 years late.
Well, I'm sure that that's going to happen for you, thanks to this film, because it's a very beautiful film, and I would like to thank you for your time. It was a very interesting discussion, and wish the audience good luck with the movie.
Thank you very much.
Tot zover Big Talk, maar we hebben nog meer uit de 40-jarige geschiedenis van het festival. Iedere avond vertoont TV Rijnmond een film uit de catalogus van het IFFR. En vanavond is dat Extrano, een Tiger uit 2003 van de Argentijnse regisseur Santiago Loza. Het gaat over de liefde tussen een arts en een zwangere vrouw.